Hey everybody, this is Shelly, your mouthy mama at Talking Trash and Truths, and I decided to do a little impromptu live to just talk about some things that were on my mind. Um, as you can see, the title of this video, this live cast is narcissism the same as being narcissistic? And can you spot a true Amber Heard type? And here's the thing, we have become very armchair psychologists, each and every one of us. Um, Judging people has become a lot easier, a lot quicker. You don't have all the information, and yet you're comfortable, including me, making snap judgments. And so I have looked into different areas where I really had quite a lot of self-interest, things that have affected me, and narcissism is a big one. So I wanted to see if there's a difference. So I did a little basic definition research just for you today. Now, attention seeking people, like people who just like to, you know, be the center of attention, even just like some attention. YouTubers are a great, example of this. Most of us are, you know, a little shy in the, regular people world. But on here, it's different. On here, you get to say what you think without anybody being physically present to intimidate you or to make you nervous. There's still a lot of anxiety involved, but it tends to, go away or be worth it for you. I am anxious every time I go to hit that live button. Every time I'm on with Cool Frog, every time I'm on with Dark, every time I go on anybody's stream, I am filled with anxiety of, oh my God, I'm going to mess up. Nobody's going to like me. Da, 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 da. And yet I go. And when I go, yes, I have things to say, but I also know that I'm demanding attention from people. I want them to listen to what I have to say. I want them to hear me. Partly because I really hope to help them, and partly because I want to be heard. I think we all want to be heard. It convinces us that we have something of value that other people value as well. That we're not just shooting in the dark. That we're not sitting there like thinking these profound thoughts that are absolute crap. You know, it's one thing to tell somebody how you feel. It's another thing to tell them how you think. See, nobody can deny your feelings, but they can tell you that you're thinking wrong, which maybe you are, maybe you aren't. It's not really up to them to decide. It's up to you to decide. But when it comes to attention, it feels really good. It feels really good to have someone look at you and just be like, I'm here. I'm here to listen to what you have to say. Maybe they can't see my face. They see my avatar, but they're like, I see you, boo. Like, you're right there. I get you. I hear they've told me that they've heard more from me than they would have ever seen. Like, they could hear, pain in my voice. They can hear, like mischief, sarcasm, anger, joy, doubt, lots of doubt. I am very doubting Thomas. Um, when you want attention, when you want somebody to recognize that you have something to contribute, that's not a bad thing. Now, according to the lovely internet, which we know is never wrong, wanting attention, accolades, and validation are not narcissistic in nature. We all need to feel heard and have a sense of belonging, but narcissists crave this attention constantly. I'll go you one better. The definition of narcissism is excessive interest in or admiration of oneself and one's physical appearance. According to psychology, selfishness involving a sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy, and a need for admiration as characterizing a personality type. Psychoanalysis says self centeredness arriving from failure to distinguish the self from external objects, either in very young babies or as a feature of a mental disorder. You see, when you're a baby, the world revolves around you because you're a baby. You can't do anything for yourself. And a baby doesn't have the awareness to think, oh, I'm crying at 2 a.m. and they had a really tough day. Maybe I'll just let them sleep. No, a baby's thinking, well, get the hell out of bed. I'm hungry. It's about me, 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 me. Babies are very narcissistic, but they grow out of it when they learn to take other people's, emotions and situations into consideration. A baby knows when they're looking at you, I don't like that face if you're sad, but they don't know why they don't like that face. They get that feeling sometimes, like they'll frown at you, like, why are you making that face? But then they'll light up when you smile. And your moods are contagious. They are. And a baby will interpret them usually on point. But if you're sad, it's not that they're not aware that you're feeling some type of way. It's of no concern to them. They don't know about consequences. They don't know about causes. All they're knowing is I have a poopy diaper and I'm hungry and I want to be held and just love me because that's what I want right now. So do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And you do. That's why parents are so exhausted. It is literally the most fulfilling and yet draining thing you will ever do in your life. But that is the same as a mental disorder in a grown-up. Somebody who thinks that regardless of the inconvenience to anyone else or the consequences, they want what they want and they're going to get it by hook or by crook. So that's narcissism. And then you have just narcissistic. Narcissistic is just having an excessive or erotic interest in oneself and one's physical appearance. It's like somebody saying, oh, oh, look at my hair. Oh, God, I hope nothing happens because my hair is perfect. I have perfect hair. Don't you think I have perfect hair? Of course you do. I bet you wish you had hair like me. I mean, look at it. It's so glossy. It's so wonderful. It's so curly. It's somebody who's always, putting forth this, look at me, I'm the shit kind of attitude. And they're not doing it tongue in cheek or ironically. They believe it. And they believe because of this beauty that they behold, that the world owes them everything. They don't have to work for it. As a society, we tend to reaffirm that. We do. We double down because pretty people have it easier. They do. They get jobs easier. They're given things, a lot quicker. Maybe it's a generalization, but for the most part, everybody out there knows you're going to get treated better if you're, extremely pretty. There are people in power who will try to overtake or control pretty people because they want that power. They want to own that. Everybody wants a piece of something beautiful. People are objects to people like that. So yeah, they'll have no problem trying to push their way in and whatnot. So, oh look, chat. Cat Ninja, hi. Mr. Malloy, good morning. Well, good afternoon, good evening. I don't even know what time it is. Rabbit, hello, hello, hello. So, Cat says hi. Mr. Malloy says hi. Rabbit says hi and hit that like button. I'm just out here trying to just get my thoughts together because I'm having a bit of a hard day. Rabbit said, I'm in my second childhood, so in a year or so, year or two, I might need diaper changes. Well, you know what? If you need diaper changes, you have every right to be me, 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 me. It's okay. But that's not really the type of narcissism we were talking about. That's more necessity, lady. You do so much for other people, no one could ever accuse you of vanity or selfishness, ever. Me, on the other hand, I can be selfish. I'm selfish with people. Now, I did say that an example of an attention loving person would be a YouTuber. We come on here, we talk to people, we say our thoughts like they mean anything, like they're going to help somebody. And we genuinely usually hope they do. But it's kind of, you know, a little vain to think that I'm up here talking something that you don't already know or that you don't know better than me. You might. I don't know. It didn't enter my head until just now. What entered my head? Hey, you got something to say. Why don't you go say it? Maybe somebody will listen because I want the attention on me right now. I want the attention on what I'm saying and what I'm going through. There are many similarities, there are many differences. The similarities are kind of what I want to focus on. Yes, you could have people who they're more selfish, they more think of themselves. Maybe they don't consider your feelings or consider what their actions do to you, but that doesn't make them necessarily narcissistic. It if the intention is it reads into a lot of what that means. So if they have bad intentions toward you, like they're absolutely using you for some reason other than, I guess any altruistic reason or for you or just as a mutual thing. If they're looking to use you for their own benefit and they don't care, what it does to you or what lies are spread about you or if you're ostracized, if you lose anything, if your reputation is shot, they don't care. That's a narcissist. That's someone who has no regard for the feelings of anyone but themselves. And they will lie and step on people to get where they want to be. And they never look back. I mean, they'll double down, don't get me wrong. They might even elaborate, like make their story bigger. They're going to exaggerate it. They're going to, oh my God, they add to it. It's more dramatic. And then the melodrama and then the hyper melodrama to the point where it's just not believable anymore. Where everybody has to look at this person and go, God, what is wrong with you? Hello, Dart. Dart said, needing attention. I think I know the story. Fuck it. How it ends, though. Hey, 357. He said, hey, Shelly Mama. What's up, babe? I mean, yeah, we all know this story. We know the story from Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. We know the story from friends of ours that have been really railroaded by narcissists. I know the story because I am prone to wind up with narcissists. And what that says about me, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I like it though. We tend to, in the beginning, give them a free pass because we're getting to know them. I'm like, oh, I don't want to judge them too harshly, even though you might have red flags and alarm bells going off galore. You like this person. They've set it up that way. Like a narcissist will love bomb you. They will just suddenly appear everywhere in your life. Everywhere you go, there they are. Everything you say, they're backing you up. Every time you want to do something, they're right there ready to do it with you, hold your hand, make sure it goes well, pay for it, do everything. Hey, Mike. And they're there to make you feel like you can do anything. With this person, I can conquer the world. They really care about me. God, they see me. See, that's the kicker. They make you believe they see you. And you want so desperately to be understood by somebody that you're willing to swallow that hook deep down into your belly where it's never going to come out without gutting you. And you go on. And like with my ex, I tried looking at this from, okay, my ex versus Amber Heard. Because I think we can all, you know, say that Amber Heard is probably the quintessential abusive narcissist um, with narcissistic personality disorder. I cannot imagine she does not have that, allegedly. Maybe she doesn't, maybe she does. But I looked at her behaviors, and my ex, not my ex husband. Well, yeah, kind of my ex husband. My ex husband to a lesser degree, but my other ex to a more profound degree. Uh, so yeah, they love bomb you. So when they love bomb you, it's all about you. You're perfect. You're this. You're that. And they really do make you believe like they're just into you. And oh man, we're vibing together, and we're the best of friends, and we're this and we're that. We're soulmates. I hate that term. We are soulmates. We are kindred spirits. You were meant for me. God put you before, all these bullshit things that they say. And when you're somebody who has um, been neglected in the past, either by lovers or by parents or anyone, you know what it feels like to be in a relationship where you're alone, where you're always begging for something. So to have this person come up and, wow, they think I'm great. You know, well, maybe I am. And they convince you that you're amazing and you're this and you're that. And oh my God. And you become their everything. And you're good with that because you've never really been anybody's everything, have you? People have been your everything. And you're like, hey, it's nice to have that given to me for once. So you don't think about it too much. It's just surface thoughts. But you like it. You like the feeling. You let it go on. You let it continue. And they want more time with you. So you start thinking, okay, they think I'm great. They're not bored of me. They think they want to spend more time with me. So why don't I do that? Why am I spending time with people who don't appreciate me when this person clearly does? They love me. They appreciate me. They value me. So you spend more time with them and less time with the other people. So where you had balance before, you were in the middle, you had friends and family and a life on one side, and this new person on the other. You, in the beginning, balanced it out. You know, everybody like had a little bit equal time. Maybe your family and friends got a little bit more time, but as that person started laying on the lines and the bullshit with the love bombing, they became weightier and they became more and more and more important to you. So their influence tilted the scales. But you don't realize once those scales tilt, they keep going. And that narcissist is going to make sure they go in their favor. And if that means getting rid of your support system, then that's what they're going to do. And they do it very subtly. Little comments about, oh, I don't think she really likes you. I mean, if she was your friend, would she, like, constantly want to take you away from me? She knows I make you happy. She knows that I worship you. I think she's jealous. Oh, that's a famous one. I think she's jealous. I think he's jealous. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. So the fuck what? Jealousy never killed anybody. Well, I mean, it killed other people, but not the person themselves, just from pure jealousy. I don't want to talk about what jealousy can make you do because I've done crazy shit being jealous. I'm a very possessive, jealous person. I know that. It's something I work on every day. I don't work on it hard because, meh, it's the least of my worries, but I do work on it. And I do admonish myself and go, why? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? You just caused a bunch of new problems you didn't need. For what? Did it get you anything? No. So let's think before we act. 357 says, I was a shitbag too, didn't realize that I absolutely love everybody, even the assholes. Let me go back for a second before I lose him, like his thoughts, and before I get derailed, because it works into what I'm saying. Darth says, and I'm just going to read them in a row because It's a lot. When you really, really need, like, what does it say? They actually factually know how to manipulate them into giving them a pass, which is true. All the fucking time. And then when you really need them, they ghost. Charles Manson makes her look like a tame kitten. I agree. Not for nothing, if you want to talk narcissistic psychopaths, Tiny Mustache Man was also next level beyond that. I have never been anyone's anything, much less everything. That's why I'm quick to say, fuck, you're nothing. Because that's what it means. It's called the green-eyed monster for a fucking reason. Well, yeah. So everything Dart said, yeah, I agree with most of that. Um, I believe we are everything to some people, though we might not know it. You know that I have very profound feelings for a woman in my past, and she was my everything for years and years and years and years, but she was also somebody else's everything, and somebody else was her everything. So my information that she was everything wasn't necessary, and it took me decades to tell her, because she didn't need to know. She didn't need that conflict in her head. She wasn't going to choose me, so I wasn't going to do that to her. I wasn't going to mind fuck her like that. And that's what it is. It's somebody gets inside your brain and they scramble it and they, fry it and make it the way they like it, consume it, and you belong to them. That's how they feel. So aside from what, Dart said, which, like I said, I largely agree with. Hi, Clumsy. Welcome, welcome. There are things like isolating. That's the one thing that they all do. And they do it subtly. They subtly move you, out of the limelight. They move you away from them a little and a little, back into a corner, back into the dark, back into the shadows. They start, with the whole, oh, your friend's jealous. Oh, your family's not really nice to me. I don't think they like us together. Which, of course, if you bring up and somebody says anything negative, reaffirms what they're saying, and right away you can't separate us. I love them. And it just becomes a whole freaking drama. And it's easy to get under somebody's skin and make you think, oh, well, see, I treat you better than anybody, and you mean more to me than anybody. Obviously, they're going to try to wreck us. So we have to be even closer. We have to band together even more. So that's what you do. You move toward them. You trust them with everything. Now this person knows everything about you. They know exactly what buttons to push, exactly how to hurt you, exactly how to make you happy, exactly how to make you feel guilty and forgive them for something they've done, and for you to take the blame on yourself. They are amazing, amazing at it. And it's almost effortless because it feels like they don't have any ethics. They have no principles. They have nothing that requires them to consider what they're going to do to another person or people. Because the only thing that matters is themselves. They're like, at the end of the day, it's just me. I don't need nobody. I don't need that. But they do. They need people to feed off of. They need people to constantly give them that, oh, you're amazing. You're so beautiful. You're so smart. You're so this. Like, they need to be the cool one. They got to be in the middle and be like, hey, look at me. I'm wonderful. And everybody's got to, oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because if you don't, well, obviously you're thinking wrong. You're a bitch. You're selfish. You're whatever. You're jealous. I love the you're jealous thing. And it's just like, whatever. But like in my relationship and the way Amber Heard did it, it was the, you don't need anybody but me. Oh my God, I'm here for you. I would never treat you the way your family treated you. Oh, your mother neglected you? I'm going to love you better than any mother in the world, just as you are. And they make these promises that you have been waiting for your whole life. And you believe them not because they're convincing. You believe them because you want to believe it. You're desperate for that. And they know that. They know all they have to do is just hold that little minnow up and you're going to catapult out of that water like a great white going after a seal. Like just boom. And there's nothing you can do. You're going to get swallowed whole. You really are. You know, cuz they're the bigger fish. They're always going to have control over you. They're the guy with the harpoon. Yeah, I just fed you a seal, but maybe I feel like poking a hole in your side today. And it's confusing because this is what they do. Once you're isolated, once you have no support system, they're all you have. So now you're each other's everything. Only in real life, they're your everything because they've created it that way. They've modeled your whole entire life to where the only person you can look to is them. The only person you can rely on is them. The only person you trust is them. And you're stuck with them because they know every dirty secret you have. And everybody's got dirty secrets. They know every dark thought you've ever had. They know every person that you've ever known, what you've known about them, what you've done to them, what they've done to you. And they store that information and use it like a weapon every time. They will threaten you with it. They will make you feel guilty with it. They will accuse you of repeating it with them, even though they know it's not true. Because they'll say, well, you were capable of it before. Why should I think you're any different now? Because you made me different. No, I didn't make you different. You're still the same person. And they beat you down. They beat you down with words, sometimes physically beat you down. And when they do, they turn around and say, look what you pushed me to do. Oh, so now it's my fault that I have a black eye. It's my fault that you broke everything in the kitchen. It's my fault that you came home and, it smelled like perfume. And I got slapped for daring to accuse you of cheating when you're out there trying to network and you're meeting people and that's your mother's perfume and da 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 da. And they always have an excuse. And it's always something that when you look at it, you're like, all right, yeah, that's believable. Like you swallow it. You swallow it. Just like that minnow, just like that seal. Gone. 357 said, my mama is my go-to. Nothing I hide from her, but she gives me the brutal honesty. Yeah, and that's great. Because you should be able to trust your mama. Not all of us are that lucky. Dr. Hitty said, yes. Everything you tolerate is your fault. Tell me it isn't. Well, I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm not saying that it's completely that person's fault. There is a perpetrator. In order for it to be done to you, someone has to be doing it. And in order for you to do it to someone, they have to, on some level, accept it or be powerless to thwart it, to stop it, which is a lot of what we see in women who have small, they have children, they have no income, they're married to somebody who treats them very badly, treats the kids very badly, and they don't have resources. Maybe they're in like a rural area where the resources just aren't there. In one of those towns where their husband's related to everybody of any importance, or he has a reputation that he's this stellar guy, or your wife is some amazing, altruistic woman. And it's hard to combat what people perceive your other person, your significant other, to be, because they've worked their whole life to build these two different personas. I always say my family is better in public than they are in private, because in public, they're friendly and sweet and complimentary and, oh, so chatty and, oh, so affable. And you're just always full of smiles and never a harsh word. And they work at the church. And then you get behind closed doors and it's so it's not just significant others. Your family can be narcissistic to you. They can be very, very narcissistic. Mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, it doesn't matter. Narcissists very rarely focus on just one person because they're always honing their craft. They're always playing with their abilities, and going, oh, well, what if I try this? They're not going to try something new on their significant other because they can't mess that up. That's their main draw. That's their main addiction. So they're going to pick somebody inconsequential that if they piss them off, they don't give a shit. So they'll go try that out there. And then if it backfires, they're, and, I'm only playing with you, we got that, And it's just like, and they leave you on your back foot, completely confused. After they separate you, though, comes the inevitable criticism. Before I get to that, Darth says, yes, everything you tolerate is your fault. Tell me it isn't. I've seen more Johnny Depps in real life than the other side of the coin. Cucked men abused by their wives. Nobody cares. They always focus on one person, themselves. That's what narcissism is. Narcissism is not only focusing on oneself, because you can focus on yourself and still be a healthy person. It's focusing on yourself to the detriment of others, regardless of what the consequences are to anyone else. I need to pay Shelley for helping my brain. Well, if you can help my brain, you deserve the friggin' Nobel Peace Prize, let me tell you. Because even it seems like my therapist even gave up. That bitch hasn't called me yet. So yeah, they move on to criticism, because how else are they going to break you down? Right? So if you talk to somebody and you're with them and they're love bombing you and you're everything, and now you're with them all the time and you're seeing less and less of your friends, less and less of your family and friends are going to start to just let you go. They might try a couple times, say, hey, you want to spend some time, but eventually they know you're gone. They're just going to have to wait until you see what's going on. Some may be, a little more determined, but eventually people wear down. You could only beat your head against the wall when somebody's not listening so many times before you say, all right, I can't do this. It's hurting me now. And as much as I love you, I can't keep going through this. So when you're ready, you come and you find me and we'll talk it out. At best, that's what you can hope for. At worst, they're just done with you. They're just done with you and they think you're stupid. And they're like, no, you chose somebody else. They're just not going to forgive you. And it does happen. It does happen. I've been fortunate where friends of mine that I moved away from for this individual or for my ex-husband, they turned around and said, look, we know that you were going through something. We know that, like with the first one, they knew how much I loved them and how bizarre it was for me to feel that type of love for anybody, because I'd only ever felt it for, Christine. But here I was feeling it for somebody who was claiming to feel it back. And the world became literally just kittens and rainbows and glitter fart and unicorns. Like everything was just amazing until it wasn't. Until he started with your friend. I think she was flirting with me the other day. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, she was, I don't know. She was like, she kept touching my arm. It was weird. I didn't see it. Are you saying that it didn't happen? Are you calling me a liar? No. I would never. Of course, if you said it, I'm going to believe it. And that's how they get you. They don't have to prove anything. They're just, well, you should believe me because it's me. I don't need receipts. I should just be able to tell you any lie off the top of my fucking head and you should believe it. And you do, because you don't want to lose them, because now your whole life is wrapped around this person. You don't go to eat without this person. They drive you to work. They wake you up in the morning. They put you to bed at night. They spend all day with you. They drive you crazy, but you look forward to it, because in the back of your head all day long is their name. You're just repeating their name in your head over and over and over and over. thinking that they're out there doing the same. They're not. They're not. You're just somebody they're working on now. Hopefully for them, you're their last mark so that they can, they can get what they want and just be comfortable. But people like that, narcissists, it's never enough. They always have to have more. They always have to win. They always have to be better than you. Throw it in your face. They have to be, everything to everybody because I'm amazing. And look at this piece of shit who didn't appreciate what I gave them. Look at this piece of shit who talks shit about me behind my back. Look at how they're trying to say that I'm selfish. Do any of you know me to be selfish? And it's, oh, no, like angels fucking, start singing. That's what they do. That's what they do. And everybody falls for it. And it's really hard to fight that kind of a popularity contest because that's what it is. It's a popularity contest. It's who you could convince of what. And being that you're all broken and it's not fun for people to believe you, most of the time they don't. They choose to believe something else so that they don't have to deal with it. They don't have to deal with the drama. They don't have to make you feel better. They don't have to defend you. They could just walk away and go, well, I'm walking away from you the same way as you walked away from me. Tit for tat, man, tit for tat. And they don't realize, just how crippled you are in that relationship where you're making decisions purely emotionally, purely instinctively because you're reacting to someone saying, well, if you don't believe me, then why are we together? There's that instant knee-jerk fear of grabbing them. No, of course I believe you. And you become a little bit more willing to give in each time. They wear you down. That is what they do, Mike. That is what they do. Let me see, he agrees. Dart says, don't Google the aftermath. Don't bother. Everything left on the floor is the lava. Because RA said that's where people have the hardest time getting out once everyone is gone. Yeah, it is because you have nothing to grab onto. You're in this deep well of abuse and darkness and self-doubt and self-hatred because they have turned everything you liked about you against you. They have made you into this monstrosity that people avoid, that people even they start to say, oh, you know what? Well, I remember when he did da-da-da. I didn't do that. But in their mind, they're already Mandela effect. They're already remembering things that didn't happen, remembering conversations that didn't happen. And it happens all the time. It does. And it leaves you completely on your own. So now you're in this well of fucking despair and nobody is willing to, lean over and either throw you a rope or put their hand out. I wasn't talking to Clumsy T3. Wasn't. No. I said that. I'm sorry if that came out wrong. I said yeah because you said yeah. I know you were agreeing with me and saying that you didn't read the thing. Sorry if that was unclear. I'm hot right now. I don't want to put the fan on because it'll make noise, but it's like really, really hot in my apartment. It's distracting. So we go from criticism to the gaslighting. The gaslighting to make you feel more guilty, to turn whatever they've done on you. It's, okay, so we were supposed to meet at the restaurant for, let's see, for your birthday. Well, he's late. And you're sitting there an hour, 2 hours. And he knows you're going to stay there. She knows you're going to stay there. Because, oh my God, what if I leave and they show up and I'm not here and oh my God. All right, so maybe there's traffic. Maybe they work late. Maybe they're this. And then they walk in 2+ hours late. And they're irritated with you that you told me such and such a time. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I texted. I don't care what you texted me. You told me such and such time. Are you saying that I'm remembering wrong? Are you saying I'm stupid? I can't remember a meeting time? And the barrage comes. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? You're upset. We're in public. It doesn't matter who said what. I'm here. Aren't you happy I'm here? Yes, I'm happy you're here. It's your birthday. We're going to have a good birthday. Okay. And then you sit and you have this thing where you've just forgiven them, carte blanche, just out of nowhere forgiveness. And now you're grateful that they're there, grateful that they've decided to show up for your birthday and give you scraps. Because is there a gift? Half the time there's not. They're like, oh, no, I'm waiting to get you this one thing. It's just taking more time. Yeah, they didn't get you a gift because they didn't want to. You buy them things all the time because they like it. You want to make them happy. In the beginning, they bought you things, but now it's like, don't you have money? Like, why don't you pick up this check? Oh, you don't want to like pay for the movies? I pay for everything else. You can't pay for like $9 movie. Granted, I know movies are not $9 anymore, but it's that kind of thing that goes on. Where it's before it was a pleasurable excursion to go out. Now it's, oh my God, what fights are we going to get into? Because they've convinced you everything they do is okay and you're the one in the wrong. And you start to just go, okay, all right, I don't want to fight. I'm just going to take the blame for right now. And that's it. Just like with the cops, never admit guilt, especially if you're not freaking guilty. Just say, you know what? We'll talk about this later when we're both calm. And they're not going to like that. They're not going to like that at all. They will spend the rest of the night thinking of what they're going to do to turn that around. And they will. They'll start a fight in the car, or they'll start a fight when you get home. And it's a whole big thing. And again, with the gaslighting, going to bed together, you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want this. And they turn their back and they're like, if you just appreciated what I do for you, if you appreciated me, we wouldn't be in this predicament. No woman would talk to me like that if she knew, what I did. No other woman's going to talk to me like that. Maybe I should have just played the field. Maybe my mother was right. I always love that one. Maybe my mother was right. Well, then go fuck your mother. So, I don't know what to tell you. I'm at that place now, but in those relationships, I could have never talked back. Oh, no. Because all they had to do was snap at me a little, and it was waterworks because I'm devastated because, oh, my God, I made him upset, and he's not going to love me because, oh, my God, when he gets angry, I can't take it. I can't take what he says. I can't take what he does. He withdraws his affection. He withdraws any kind of emotion. He gives me the silent treatment. They're going to do to you whatever they know bothers you the most. Whatever they know is going to break you down and completely occupy your mind. So they are all you think about. And you become super good at pleasing them. Because that's what the gaslighting leads to. You now feel guilty. So you have a choice. You can either accept the fact that this is the role you're going to play now, or you're going to turn around and say, no, this isn't for me. You're not right. These are your issues, and I'm not going to carry the weight of it anymore. You don't get to abuse me. Very rarely is the second one a viable option because you're too emotionally skewed, too emotionally scrambled to see the logic in it, to see, oh, wait a minute, A to B to C to D. Oh, that makes sense. But now that's different than what they're telling me. This is male and female. They can both do it. I've seen them both do it. Women are very, very good at being, controlled by their own narcissism and using it to take down others. I know quite a few men who've done it. They're not as thorough, I would say, not as subtle. And eventually, they can't compete with something that a woman has, and that would be her children. A lot of women I know that got out of those types of relationships didn't do it for themselves. They did it for their children because they didn't want their children to suffer for their decisions, for their choices, for their inability to see who this person really was. And sometimes it works that way. Sometimes they never get out. It's a really bad place to be. RA says, or they'll say, if you sleep in a different bed, you might as well sleep somewhere else altogether. Yeah. Got way better about letting that nonsense go. Emotions are the worst friggin' decision makers. Absolutely. And I said this on Battle of the Sexes with Dark. If I could step away from the emotional reaction I'm having and just think, I make much better decisions. But if I do the knee-jerk thing, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. And it's usually going to be me because I'm the one left crying. And yet I'll go back and do it again the next day. Women make shit choices and the children suffer. Repeal the 19th. Fuck letting women pretend to adult. Well, I mean, I'm going to sit here with my 19th and just say my piece, but that's your piece, and you can take your repeal the 19th and put some glue on the back of that thing and stick it right on your ass. This way you can advertise it to everybody. For me, I'm just going to hold on to mine a little bit longer. I'm sure eventually all our rights will be taken, so I'm not that worried about my own. When you challenge a narcissist, be prepared for a very violent reaction. Not just physically violent. They will throw everything in the kitchen sink at you that they know will hurt you. Yeah, that's what I figure. Yep. Well, it's only a matter of time, Darth. Only a matter of time. When it comes to narcissists and you telling them, no, you're gaslighting me, you're lying to me, you're doing this. If they hear any of those trigger words, they lose it because you're too close to the truth, and that is not a comfortable place for them. They don't live in truths. They live in their own created reality where every lie they spew is the truth. They have accepted those lies as truth so that they can convince everybody else, including you. And to a degree, it works. It works because now you're in their reality and everything looks different. So when you challenge that reality, when you challenge the stability, they lash out because they must protect that reality at all costs. At all costs. After that, if you manage to get away from them, they will go after you. And even if you don't, if they stay, like if you stay with them, they will subtly yet thoroughly ruin your reputation with rumors, innuendo, little things they drop here or there, convince people that you are a certain way, convince people that maybe you're a psychotic, that you're a sociopath, that you're the liar, you're a cheater. Oh, they can't trust you and whatever. You're always paranoid. You have a mental disorder. You have a drinking problem. You have a drug problem. You're a whore. You're a cheater. You're a da. They will go at you with every single thing they can. And they will make all the spaghetti stick to the wall. They will super glue that bitch and ruin you. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It doesn't matter if you have receipts because now everybody just naturally believes them. Maybe they were completely honest 3 times before when they just lied their ass off. Somebody's going to call upon those 3 times. They're going to say, well, did they lie about this? Well, no. Did they lie about this? No. They lie about this? No. So why would we think they're lying about this? Because that's the game plan. If you go to a store and you give them a real $100 bill, real $100 bill, real $100 bill, then a fake, they're so used to getting the real $100 bill from you, chances are they might not check it. It's a 50-50 chance, but your odds are better than if the first time you handed it to them. And they're way better than if somebody caught you in a lie before and found a counterfeit bill and now you gave 2 real ones and then a counterfeit. They're going to be like, no, I'm going to check this one anyway. Because now they don't trust you. That's what they do. They build up trust in the outside world that surrounds the reality they've created so that nobody takes too close of a look at what's actually going on. People get that feeling, but they don't want to get involved. They're like, I don't know. It's a lot. It's too much. I don't want to really it's not my business. I don't want to, I don't want all the drama. I don't want this. Just let them work it out. I'm sure she'll be fine and we'll be here if, he or she needs me. That's a cop-out. But sometimes it's the smartest thing to do because that person, maybe they're not ready. And maybe they're staying for reasons other than themselves. Either way, people tend to feel inconsequential, like they can't get through. They're not going to make a difference, so they don't try anymore. Eventually, they give up. And your life is left in ruins because of some rumors or some gossip that, he didn't say it, but such and such said it. And if you trace that person back, you usually find the source, but you don't want to believe it. You're like, no, they would never. No, they were just misunderstood. If somebody just misheard him or he misspoke or whatever, or she misspoke, you don't want to make them the villain because you don't want to admit that you've been this stupid for this long. You don't want to believe you're the victim. That's how they keep you a victim, because you don't have the pride to admit, oh my God, I've been duped. I got to get out of this. I need help. No, you stay quiet and you try to do it on your own and it doesn't work. Or it's a lot harder than it should be than it would be if you had help. Then we have, they go back to continually trying to get you to comply. I remember when I started pushing back when I was with him. And I remember starting pushing back with my husband. And both of them had the same reaction. I wouldn't be like this if you weren't such a loud, pushy, emasculating bitch. Okay. So begging you to dump the garbage, that's emasculating. Begging you, can we go out? It's my birthday. Can we just go out? You don't have to get me anything. Just let's go out. No, I don't want to. But it's my birthday. Are you trying to guilt me into doing something that I don't want to do just because you want to do it? It's your birthday. Everybody gets a birthday. What makes you so special? Those are the things that I heard. Those are the things that got thrown at me. And I'm sure that they're thrown at other people. And part of you is like, how dare you talk to me like that? But that's the old you, the one that existed when they met you, the one they liked, the one they wanted to, say, oh, look, this person's strong. What a challenge that one will be, because they see something in you that they want. Sometimes they just want to steal your thunder. They want to steal your light. Sometimes they want to steal your ability to be different from everybody else, because you are a challenge, because you don't accept them at face value. And they're like, ooh, this could be interesting, because these are people that bore easily. I'm trying to read my writing, and I'm sorry, but my writing is so bad because my hands are so shaky, and it's just so much chicken scratch. The ups and downs become so much that when they give you anything, you're unreasonably grateful. Like if you come home and you're like really, really tired or whatever, and they tell you it's all right. You don't have to cook right now. Why don't you wait half an hour and then cook? Put your feet up for a little bit. Oh, thank you so much. And you do it, but as soon as you put your feet up, they're like, "Oh, hey babe, can I have this? Oh, babe, do you know where this is?" And they drive you crazy for that half an hour. So now you're extremely drained, extremely more tired, and now you're irritated. And if they're like, "What is with you? I give you extra time to sit on your ass and not take care of me, and you have the nerve to have an attitude about it, you are so ungrateful." And there go the scraps. You know you're not getting any kindness anytime soon. Now you're doubling up on, oh, I got to please them. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to, oh, I'm so sorry. Da, da, da. Because you don't want the backlash. And you know you're going to get it at some point. It's going to be a word or a slap or something that comes out of nowhere and clocks you. And that's one of those things that it puts you in fight or flight constantly. And so you're never allowed to let your guard down. You're never relaxed. And people will notice that you start to be more and more anxious. And they start thinking, does she have a drug problem? Like, what is wrong with her? Like, why is she acting so weird? Why is she so jumpy? God, she's gotten really weird lately. They don't understand what's causing it because they're the good guy. You know, that person, they're great. And it's like, yeah, I'm really concerned. Or she'll be like, oh my God, yeah. Like, I don't understand where all these mood swings are coming from. Like, I just don't get it. Amber Heard was notorious for that. I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. Notorious for that. She went after Johnny Depp. She love bombed him by knowing every single thing that interested him and pretending they were her interest too. And let's face it, Johnny Depp, not exactly your run-of-the-mill man. He likes some weird shit. Like, he's just not weird, but he's very much an outside the box thinker. You know, like he loves, artists that are out there and, that have something new to say, something really old to say, which isn't being said anymore. He doesn't like the mainstream. Granted, mainstream is what gave him his fortune, but that's, I think, because we want to have that view of somebody like him who isn't quite typical. He's a guy. He's a great guy. He's a guy that I can relate to, a guy I can have a beer with. And yet, he's a little quirky. Like, there's shit going through his head that you're just like, dude, where did that come from? Like, because he's an artist. The artists are eclectic and they think outside, whatever. And he's creative. And he is, for all intents and purposes, as we can tell, a good man. And she wanted that. She wanted the clout. As we know, so many clout chasers who glom on to powerful people and popular people, and they have nothing at all to offer, and yet there they are all the time. And you're like, why are you there? Sometimes the people even say, why are you here? What purpose do you serve here? Are you just here to be decoration? Because I have decorations. I don't need decorations in my life. I need people with purpose. I need people with insight. I need people who are genuine. That's what most people need. And it's very rare that you get that because somebody always wants something. And if things don't go their way, they want to change the narrative to suit themselves. And you can either swallow that or you can just say, you know what, I'm not participating in this. I'm going to make my own decisions and not listen to any side. This is just me being here, being me. If you don't like it, well, there's the door. Yeah. The thing about a narcissist is, Michael Malloy, I don't have anything to offer. I give up. Oh, you stop it. Stop it. If you just be content with yourself and let things happen in a natural way, stop rushing everything, stop expecting instant gratification, instant connections, you would be much happier. You're a very well-loved man with many, many friends. You need to start contenting yourself with that. And then if the other comes along, great. But as long as you're desperate for it, it's going to elude you because it knows that desperation doesn't mean your feelings will be genuine. Your feelings are flippant. Your feelings are grasping. It's not that you don't feel them, but you feel them for more than one person, which is not what anybody wants to be. They don't want to be just one in a line. They want to be the focus. Caveat to that, I do not want to be the focus. I would rather be one in the line. So I will keep my line as number one wife. Thank you very much, Mr. Malloy. But I wish you every luck in finding love, but you gotta let it happen in its own time. You can't rush anybody. And all you could do is be yourself. I tell you all the time, be yourself. You're a great guy. You don't have to put on a show. You really don't. Just be you. And a woman will find you and love you just as you are. And stop with the donkey laugh, because it's, a little jarring to women. Remember, feminine, gentle. Even if they don't appear feminine and gentle, treat them that way. Because they're not going to be gentle with you if you're harsh with them. They're going to give you what you give them. There's no crying in baseball, and Mr. Malloy, you're good. Absolutely. Clumsy, there is no crying in baseball. The thing is with the narcissistic person, like somebody who's just about themselves a little bit, like there's a difference between being narcissistic, like I said, and being a narcissist. Narcissistic people are like, oh yeah, pay attention to me. Come to my stream. I'm the best one. Da-da-da. They think they're the most clever, whatever. They like the attention. And they'll tell you, well, you're here because I'm awesome. I'm wonderful. Like who are you going to find? Like, you're talking about the best. You're talking about this. You're talking about me. Like, they will redirect your attention to where they want it very blatantly. And it's almost kind of, slapsticky the way they do it, because you're like, well, damn. But it's like, all right, I'm looking. It becomes like, it's funny because it's not as Machiavellian as the way a narcissist reacts. A narcissist acts purely on their own behalf. They don't care if they drive you to self-deletion. They don't care if they drive you to poverty and you're living on the street. They don't care if they drive you to drink. They really don't. In fact, they will take all these things that you do to hurt yourself, that you've, managed, like you failed at this and failed at that. Now you failed at these things because of them, but they turn it around and say, well, look at them. They're lucky they had me. Look at what a failure they are. Look at what a fuck up they are. Look at what an addict they are. Oh, everything about this person is horrible. Really? Then why were you friends for so long? Why were you together for so long? Why did you go after them? Because if you could explain to me why you went after them, I don't know, maybe I can somehow find how you made that step over the bridge to where they're the epitome of evil. Because they never struck me that way. Because they're not evil. It's the person perpetrating the story, creating the narrative, that is inherently, I don't want to say evil, but yeah, for lack of a better term, they're the piece of shit. Right? All they want you to do is to accept your role, give them everything that they want, the way they want it, when they want it, how they want it, in as many, times as they want it. And just shut up and be grateful that they allow you to be in their presence, because they could easily get someone better than you. And they'll make sure to tell you that. Oh, yes, they'll make sure to tell you that all the time. And they'll parade people in front of you. Oh, look at this person. That's nice. What are you supposed to do? It guts you, because you're like, they're really like putting somebody else in front of me. I gave up everything for this person. Now you're really desperate to keep their attention. And that's when they're like, no. That's when they break away. They break your heart. They break your mind, because you don't know how to just comply. Compliance is what they're after. Obedience, compliance. They will take everything you have to give, and they will bleed you dry of things you didn't even know you had. They will dredge up bad memories. They will use your past pain to cripple you. And they will rip open every wound they know you have. And they won't think twice about it. And then they'll just walk away. And they do that because they know you have nobody. So they let you fester in your own depression. They see how far they can push you, by letting you alone. And then they come back. They always, always, always return with the, oh, I missed you. Oh, we can be friends. Oh, I can't be without you. You know how much you mean to me. And the love bombing starts all over again. Because now they know you. This is a game they can play with you in their sleep. And nobody's the wiser. Everybody thinks, oh no, they're wonderful people. Until they start to crack. And they will. They will always crack. A bad penny always returns. That's right, Mr. Malloy. When they go away, they have every intention. Most likely, they have a timeline set up in their head of when you're going to be your most vulnerable so that they can come back or run into you by accident. I love that one. When they run into you. Yeah, my ex used to run into me in front of my job and say, why are you following me? Following you? I fucking work here. Why are you here? Oh, I came up here because it's none of your business. Why are you always wondering what I'm doing? He would turn every single thing I said against me and then be waiting at the bus stop for me to get off the way. You know how many times I hid on the floor of the bus so that I'd just be like, no, keep going. And the bus driver was like, we got it. Keep going. And then I'd get yelled at later because you weren't on the bus stop. Oh, no, I got off early because I had to go to the store. Why didn't you tell me? Because we're broken up. It doesn't matter. I should know where you at. Don't you know I worry? Don't you care how I feel? And that would start. But baby, I miss you. I miss you so much. And this and that. And it's just the bullshit starts over and over and over. And you're so beaten down, you can't even you can't stand up for yourself sometimes. You're just like, you know what? All right, this is what I want to hear. I've been waiting to hear this, for him to come to his senses, for her to come to her senses and see what she has. And then you feel appreciated because they tell you they appreciate you. They tell you how wonderful you are. And you're like, all right, they're finally back on board. Until they have you a little bit more, in their pocket. And now they're going to be a little bit meaner. Every time you get less and less. I can guarantee it. They love bomb you for a day and put you through torture for months. And you put up with it because of that one day. Because of the hope that that one day will happen again. And they might do a little thing to be like, oh, I got you these flowers. Oh my God, did you really? Thank you so much. All right, put them away, beautiful. And they'll walk away. Put them in a nice vase, not that piece of shit vase that your mother gave you. It's always the backhanded comp. There's always good thing and then it's just like, you just couldn't leave it positive because they can't. They absolutely can't. They have to have the last word. They have to have the last say. Everything comes down to their decision. It's their decision, their move, their friends, their family, their life. You don't have a part in that anymore because you don't have friends and family and whatever. You just have them and they have you. All of you, 24/7, and you have nobody. It's the worst kind of situation I've ever been in. And I've been in some fucked up situations. But let me tell you, being with a narcissist was the most painful. Come torture me. All right, I got to go, but want to thank you for sharing your truth and shedding light on this subject. You're very welcome, all right? I'm glad you stopped by and, chose to listen to what I had to say. 357 says, come torture me. You're so silly. I mean, really. The thing is, I'm not a narcissist. I can be very attention seeking. That's why I'm on YouTube. I'm not on here going, fuck this and blowjobs and blah, 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 blah. because I don't want to shock you and have you look at me. No, I do it so I get your attention. I grab your interest. That's why I do it. Plus, because that's my personality. I mean, let's face it. This is not stuff that it pains me to say. This is stuff that rolls off my tongue like, my mother language, which is American. I might be Italian, by genetics, but my native tongue is American, not even English, because let's face it, they're literally an ocean apart. Um, the last thing I want to say about narcissists, such as Amber Heard, and this is one of the reasons that I did this, is because everybody keeps saying, why won't she go away? When is she just going to go? When can we stop hearing her name? You're never going to. You're never going to even beyond like her lifespan. Someone will bring her up who was an advocate for her or who stood up for her when they didn't know she was lying. She got caught out. Now they are too deep into it to backtrack. They can't backpedal and say, oh, I'm sorry, I believed it. No, they got to double down and be like, no, she's wonderful. She's worked it. She's blah, 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 blah. She's a piece of shit. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that. She's a piece of shit. Anybody who supported her is full of crap. They willfully ignored the truth. They told us to believe what they told us, which is typical of a narcissist. Believe what I told you, not believe what you saw or what you heard or what was proven. Are you going to believe what's written down and signed by me, or are you going to believe what I just made up on the spot? Come on now. A winning reality. They are the enablers. See, this is winning's I don't want to say area of expertise, but it kind of is. He knows a lot about it. Rabbit said, that's not narcissism. It's being outgoing, Shelley. Yeah, when I do it, it's being outgoing. When somebody does it for pure self-aggrandization or just to win people over, that's narcissism. If you're using somebody to better yourself, and don't care what lies you're spreading or what pain you're doling out, again, that's narcissism. Enablers are the fuel that abusers use to create new victims. Oh, you meant me? No, I'm very outgoing, especially for an introvert, because I really, like I said, I get a lot of anxiety getting on here and saying what I mean, because not everybody's going to agree. And I'm just like, all right, so let the dissenters come and talk to me, but don't attack me. So that's the thing. People like to attack lately. I'd rather have a conversation. If you say one thing and I say another, all right, let's sit down and talk it out. Don't yell at me. Don't come at me with, oh, well, you're the ad hominems have to stop. That's all people do now. It's like if I come at you with facts and you come at me with the personal attack, what is wrong with you? You already lost this fucking argument in my eyes, because you went for the low hanging fruit. You went for the bottom of the barrel because you got nothing to stand on. No, that's what the abuser enabler relationship is. Winning, would you like to come up here and talk? Because you're more than welcome to. In fact, I was going to stop the stream, but screw it. I'm not doing anything right now. Either way, you'll have a link. Everyone seems to have disparu. And so I just went and did my own thing. Because, I don't really need my hand held. I sent you the link if you want to pop up. If you don't, that's fine. If I can deal with your audio, I don't care if you're crackly. I was crackly for how long? That's fine. But we can have a conversation. It's up to you. You don't have to. Don't feel obligated in any way, shape, or form. I'm good. I've been doing this for an hour and 15 minutes by myself. I'm used to talking to myself. And at least I have, people who are asking me questions and stuff like that. So it's fine. You do you, babe. And I'm just going to be here talking about the only thing that I know about it. I've known narcissists who I broke ties with and put 20 years between us. and still they come back. Oh, look who it is, thinking that they can push you some of the in reality.
Hello. Am I okay? Do I sound all
Where?
right?
Yeah, you sound great. What are you at a fair?
Yeah, I'm at the fair.
Are you at the fair? Oh,
Yeah, I'm at the hotel. I'm in Tallahassee for the soccer tournament.
okay.
Now I'm
Nothing like
walking out
telling
in the
everybody.
Florida sky. Bring it on.
All right. So you're saying that's the abuser enabler relationship. I'm just saying that, they do well to isolate people. They love bomb them, they isolate them, they criticize them, they make sure they only give them scraps, make sure that they're, you know, thankful for those scraps. Then they take away the scraps so that they have to give them less and less and less. And
Yep.
you become accepting of that
Yep.
until you're starving. This is all you have left. And then they leave you so that you're destroyed. So that when
Yep.
they come back, they have more control over you. And it's
Yeah, that's
easier.
the rigged game. The rigged
Yeah.
game. That's
It's
what I
the
call
weird,
it.
it's like grinding your teeth. Eventually they wear you down to a fucking nub. And you don't even feel it as it's happening.
Yeah, it's this freaking crazy thing, man. The yeah, I mean, all the things you said were true. That's the rigged game. I mean, I had things like they wear the
Hey, Frog.
mask. They wear the mask for the folks. They wear the
Mm-hmm.
mask for everybody, right? And they take the mask off for the target. So when you fall into that the site, when you become the target after you pass the interview, right? You become the target. They
Mm-hmm.
mirror you and become your ideal person.
Yep.
They suck you in, they lock you in, and when you're locked in, the mask comes off. And when the mask comes off, that's when the
Spectacular.
game begins. Yeah, I mean the game's already begun.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you really know that you're in the game. Of course, you'll spend years trying to figure out what the fuck's going on if you've ever seen it before in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the crazy part. God forbid you're a problem solver,
I
and you
know.
think you
Oh
can
my
solve all the
goodness.
problems. You think there's a
Oh
solution to
yeah.
every problem.
Do
Yeah,
you think I couldn't think of that myself? What do you think? I'm stupid. I already thought of that. It didn't friggin' work. What are you stupid? And you're just like, oh my God, never mind, never mind. Like you convince yourself you're stupid. Oh my
oh
God,
yeah,
why did I? Of
and
course
there's
they
something
know
wrong with
better
you.
than me. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they convince you you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, well you're just like your mother. I love that one. You're just like your mother. You're crazy like your mother. You're crazy like your father. This is why nobody stayed with you. I always wondered why you were single, and that's the shit that they all your insecurities. They go boom, 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 boom. Just throw them all back at you over and over and over and over until now they're not insecurities. They're the truth. This is how you see yourself now, because this is the mirror that they've held up to you. It's this
Yeah, it's a
funhouse mirror
struggle.
they created. Yeah.
It becomes a struggle. I mean, I like literally like go back and forth about things sometimes, like whether I want to get back in the dating game or not, and whether I want to
Mhm.
go pursue somebody else or not. It goes back and forth like constantly. Like, my unfortunately for me, I've met my narcissist at the fucking wrong time in my life. Now I can't complain though. This is the thing, because I got the greatest kid in the world out of it. But
I get that.
I, so I can't take it back. I can't complain, but I know that the last 10 years were, 10 years I could have like started a new family in, and now I don't
Had
feel
more
like I can do
babies,
that anymore.
had more
Yeah.
wonderful children. Yeah.
Yep. I don't feel like I
Especially
can
since
do it
it's
anymore.
something you found you enjoyed so much.
Oh
It's
yeah.
something that you found a lot of value in. It meant something to you.
No, yeah, it means everything.
And then you wasted all this time with this person where you could
Trying
have
to
been
fix it, but then I
growing
couldn't leave.
something better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't fix a broken vase. It's
You
never going to
hope.
be the
You
same.
hope. You hope. Well, if you don't know what's going
The
on, then
integrity,
you think you can. Yeah.
that's the thing. The integrity is gone because the trust is broken and you're never going to take them at face value again.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they have to up their game to make sure you stay, on board. And they do.
Absolutely.
They escalate. They absolutely escalate.
But
Um,
here's the thing: and abusers can't abuse without enablers, and that's the trick, right? So like once like Amber Heard, like she'll find somebody because she's a good-looking chick still,
uh-huh.
and she'll find somebody that doesn't know the whole story yet and get them sucked in. But she's running out of she's running out of juice because all of her enablement's falling off
Yep.
because she's just completely failed and been exposed,
But
right?
there are people who have gone so far in with her, they can't back out now. Even if
I mean,
they know
most of her
the
flying monkeys are
narrative.
gone.
I mean,
Yeah,
Eve Barlow's still there pushing for her.
I heard she. I heard
This
she
woman,
dumped E. Barlow. I heard
yeah,
she
she
like
did, but
recently.
Eve went back. Eve went
Oh,
back
of
and did this
course, yeah.
whole thing. Oh yeah, this whole weekend has been all about things that she said about the Cannes Festival, making shit up about Amber being worth it, and Johnny shouldn't be there. Amber should be there as a L'Oreal representative. Why? That's makeup. We're talking about movies. He's an actor. She's not. Like she
Right.
tried to be, but not. She didn't make it. Yeah, like nobody likes her. Why would you send somebody wholly unpopular and hated to a huge event and keep the star of the event at home? That makes no sense. But to these people, it makes perfect sense. And you're of the wrong think if you think differently,
Oh
because
yeah.
you're obviously an abusive misogynist. Whether you're male
Right.
or female, doesn't matter.
Well, yeah. During the isolation period is when they do all the work on that too. So
Mm-hmm.
like when they isolate you out, that's when them and their flying monkeys do all the work. The flying monkeys do a
Yep.
lot of it, but
A
they go
lot of
around
it.
it and they just they poison the well. They're the
Yep.
rumor spreaders that poison the well. The rumor mill, the rumor, let's say uh, the rumor mill is powered by the poison well. So the poison well is rumors are spread by people with agendas, first of
Mm-hmm.
all, and then they when it comes well poisoning, right? That's the poison well. That's the thing that they just keep dumping it in little by little until it's just completely toxic. And that's part of the isolation game that they're playing. That's the latter part of the relationship, when the isolation
Well,
starts.
some start from the very beginning. Some start with those little, the little asides that you don't always hear that other people hear. And they'll like
Yes,
set
sir.
out, like you said, they're flying monkeys to be like, oh, he's so lucky to have her. She's so lucky to have him. They were meant to be together. I hope he doesn't find out about da 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 da. Or hope she doesn't do that thing where she da 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 da. Do you remember when she was with da da da? Do you remember the rumors? And they like to just stir shit up. And it's like, you're bringing up things from 10 years ago when I was like 13. I knew nothing. And you think it's going to be the same at 23, 33, 43, 53. No, you evolve. But they
Yeah,
like to hold that as that's it. You're this forever. So they like to spread that around. Oh, well, remember when she like got into that fight? She's always been, violent. One fight, now you're always violent. You know, maybe you lied about something and you got found out. Oh, well, you remember this? Well, she's a liar. She lies about everything. You lie about one thing. But they can blow it out of proportion, and people are so in tune to drama. They want it so bad, they just eat it up.
yeah,
It becomes the truth because now they have
yeah,
something to gossip about. Ooh, like, oh, I'm going to get on this side. I'm going to get on that side, whatever. Because they're bored. People are bored. Yeah, they want shit to do. They want people to talk about because they don't want to focus on their own lives, their own problems. So it's just easier to, oh, I can't do anything in my own life. Oh, but I can help you get this for yours. So if I do this, and that's another narcissistic thing, they want to please this person, the flying monkeys. They're little
oh
simps
yeah,
for them, and they think they're going to get scraps now. And they're okay with that. They think they're going to move up until they're the significant other. No, because they already own you. You already belong to them. You're doing everything they want you to do. They're not going to give you extra. Stop. They're never going to love you. Like, they're never going to say, oh, yeah, go ahead, spend the night. They might do you just to shut you up if you get to be too uppity, but they'll do what they have to do with whoever to get their own agenda out, to get the thing done. If you're
yeah. I think there's
hesitant,
definitely some
yeah.
different agendas that go on. Maybe like we could probably have a discussion about male versus female narcissists, and the while they follow similar patterns, they may have different um ambitions, I guess. You know,
Women tend to use
I
their bodies more, I think, or at least the promise of their bodies.
well, there's
They
that,
use
but
their
that's just because men
sexualization.
always
They'll
look for
they'll
that.
hold that
Yeah.
carrot over their heads forever. Yeah. Like, how many strippers have you've heard stories about strippers having guys buy them houses and never doing anything with them? Because they're always, oh, I promise. Oh, I need this. Oh, I'm just not comfortable without a place to live. I'm not comfortable without a place for my kids. Oh, I still have to work. And if I have to work, I can't dedicate myself to you. And it becomes more and more and more and more. And then You've given them everything, and they still haven't given you so much as like a handy. It's like, really? Like this is what you're doing all this for? It's just it's bizarre to me. The power that they have over like so many
Well, it's
other
the lack of
people.
empathy and the lack of care. It's just they don't seem to care about.
No, they don't. They don't care at all. And I honestly believe there is nothing they won't do. There's no line for them. No line they won't cross. You can give them all the boundaries in the world. Your boundaries don't mean shit to them.
No,
They're laughable. They're
it's
like, yeah,
almost like,
okay. They apply to everybody else, not me though. Like, that doesn't apply to me. I'm special.
well, they
And they do
can't they
believe that.
can't fathom them for some reason. But they're yeah they know theirs, and God forbid if you cross one of theirs, it's in end
Well,
of time.
did you ever tell a narcissist no? Oh
Oh sure,
my goodness. They're
all
like
the time.
they're like, what? It's like you just called their mother a whore. You're just like, oh my, how dare you say that to, but I can't do it right now. If
That's
you
a
let
pattern.
me, you'd
They gotta
find a
have their
way to
way,
do that. Yeah.
and the
It's
pattern kicks in
always
then. Because it's gonna
consequential.
immediately your fault. It's
Hmm.
if you say no, then you're this, you're that, you're all these things, right? And it's
Hmm.
anger, and it's then like then it's like the manipulation, the guilt manipulation on you for being this and that, and they just draw back on all those old wounds that they've called you these names and told you these things, and then they've gone out and told other people these things.
Yep.
And so it all just comes rushing back when they try to get you with that. That's why you got to say, I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks, especially if they're believing you.
Yeah, but I mean that's a hard place for most people to get to.
Well, it takes a while to get
Um,
there. It takes a
it
while to
does.
get
It
there.
does. And everybody does seem to have a breaking point. It's just you don't know at that breaking point, are they going to break completely or are they going to come back stronger? Because it can go either way.
Just depends
Um,
on how much they got going on. Yeah.
yeah, it depends on like how much they've been isolated. Because if they have nothing and no one and everybody's against them, that could be too much for some people to feel like they can overcome it and they just give up.
Oh yeah.
Outpost said, wait one sec. I just want to address chat for a sec.
Got it.
He said, people push you till you explode and then act like you did something wrong and there's no reason for you to get mad. Oh, whatever. I feel attacked. I'll forgive, but I'll never forget, and the relationship will never be the same. Uh, People love seeing other people fail. That is true, but they usually use that failure to get themselves a boost up. They're not going to
Yep.
let somebody fail if it's not going to benefit them. If it's going to
Right.
be against them, they're going to be no, 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 not yet. They can't fail yet. Like and they'll make sure you make it. And now you've just solidified, you know, oh my God, they helped me when I needed them most. I'm never leaving them. Now they can do whatever the hell they want because now they're your hero. That's why I don't like being a damsel in distress. I don't want to feel that obligation of gratitude. I just don't want that profuse. Oh my God, I can depend on this person just to be disappointed. Inya said,
Yep.
in my relationship when we fight, I use some of the same mean ass words and can be a selfish asshole. How do you stop yourself from going there when triggered? Um, she said her first husband was a narcissist, just like we described, and they practically grew up together. Oh, believe me, you could grow up with somebody and never know who they truly are inside because they're very good at keeping that to themselves.
Mask. Yeah,
Yeah.
that mask is like it's incredibly powerful.
Hmm.
It's when you know that they're wearing it and you see them and you see how much influence it yields. You're like, why are these people falling for it? But they see a different person. They don't see what you see. They haven't been through what
Nope.
you've been through.
Nope.
And some people equate this to the average couple fight, right? Where people get a little heated, they say things,
Hmm.
but you know what? I bet
Not
you
the
you and your
same.
guy make up. You guys make
Hmm.
up, and then you try to move forward and put that past you. That's not what happens in a narcissistic relationship. It's like they don't make up with you. They don't move past it. You may be normalized just to be able to go out and do what you're doing, or
Hmm.
not cause a scene or something. But that's just them winding up the game again. It's
Yep.
just them bringing it back down to bring it back up.
That's
And
confusing in and of itself.
yeah,
How
it's
they
going to
can
happen
switch
at
between
times.
that the minute the door closes. You're just like, Jesus, you were just in a good mood. That was for their benefit, not for yours. Okay. Like you're just like, but I can't switch it that quick. You know, I mean, I could go from happy to mad, yeah, but usually there's something that causes that. For them to go from the fight to being all cordial and social and ha 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 ha, the life of the party, then going back to the fight, it's a little jarring. You know, you're just like, who are you? How do
They don't
you
want to see you
like?
happy,
Because
and
they know how to fake happy. They
yeah,
have that unbelievable, like, hey, they know how to schmooze. They know how to charm people, how to appear the way people want them to look. They know what's expected, and that's what they provide. And then they turn
yep,
around and they're their true selves with you. And
yep,
nobody believes you because they've never seen it. What was that Billy
yep.
Joel song, The Stranger? Have you ever had the stranger kick you right between the eyes? Yeah. Yeah, I've had that. And I didn't understand that song when I was a kid and heard it. But as I grew up, I was like, holy shit, now I get what he's talking about. Like, I've known this person 20 years and I didn't know shit about them. Like, they just
there's
came out with this
something
whole new personality.
there's something about the target that brings out their inadequacies, and I found that inadequacy is a big
Hmm.
thing with narcissists. Like they don't think they're good enough. They know they're not, I guess. But if you are, they blame it on you, and that
Yeah.
they're inadequate because you're not, and they feed off of that, and that's one of the things they primary things they want to see. They want to see you feel beneath them because they think that you feel above them, even though you just may love them, and you just it's it's a really twisted way of thinking, and most people don't think that way. So when you start to notice how inadequate they feel about things, it's kind of like a little bit of a red flag in that if they start bringing it up about you and try to pull you down on the good things, like a good one of the things is like you may be a real expert at something, you may be really good at something, but they won't come to you and ask you for that advice. They'll ask someone else right in front of your face, or they'll ask, or they'll say, oh, you don't count. Like what you're saying doesn't matter. You could be a freaking expert in it, and your words aren't good enough. It's and then pretty soon they think that they got it right.
Yep.
um, it's just this game where they want to switch places with you. And that's the inadequacy thing. It's like they're so inadequate, they got to find someone to project onto, abuse because they're projecting themselves onto you. They're going to abuse themselves through you, right? And then they want to take you and become you.
Yep.
And through that, then they don't feel like they're inadequate. Now they have somebody else right in front of them that's beneath them, right? Because it's
Yep.
a sucker that's too kind to to be cool or whatever, or like it's weak because they're kind, and they're vicious, and they look what they do, look what they can do to you, right? Oh, Mister or Mrs. Better than you think you're better than me, but
Hmm.
I can bring you to this place but that's rock bottom, or I can bring you down. I can take that happiness out of you. I can drain it like this.
Absolutely. They can
So,
attack your strengths. My ex used to, like make such a big deal out of you're so smart, you were honor society, you were this, you were that. And he was so proud of it to everybody else. But then if as soon as we'd start, not getting along, if he'd start like blaming me for something, I'd say, wait a minute, no, no, like you've been acting like that. And I'll give him like receipts and shit. And he'll say, you know what, you overthink. You think too much. You shouldn't think so much. Just let me make the decisions and everything will be all right. Because as I said, they love to tell me, you're brilliant, you have no common sense. That's not
so
true, or
let me
I'd
ask
be
you a
dead
question.
by now.
If you let him
But I
start making
believe
all the
them.
decisions, what happens?
Well, I become their little, you know.
No, but what does he do? Well, how is he gonna? What's he gonna do? Is he gonna be happy with that?
Well, no, I mean, obviously, then I'm going to have to hear how he does everything. Oh, I do all the decision making. You don't do anything. You're
And when they
incapable of
fuck
this.
up,
You're
it's your
incapable of
fault
that. Yeah. And it's your
because you
fault
should
now
have.
that they're
Yeah.
stressed and ba, 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 ba. And so
Yep.
you need to do more for me because I'm taking on more of your bullshit and da, 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 da. And it just keeps going and going until you have nothing left. All your strengths have been taken away from you because now they're telling you, you overthink, you're wrong. You're in your head too much, you're wrong. You're overfeeling, you're wrong. You're wrong, and you're never right. You're never, ever, 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 ever right. Even when
Yep.
it's obvious that you're right, they will find a way to claim the credit for that.
Yep.
Be like, oh,
Or
see
just say
what a
you don't
good
know what you're
decision
talking
you made.
about.
I knew you would do it. I knew you listened to me. What? Listen to you. Like, when the hell did
Yeah.
you
They they
chime in
they
on this?
pipe up on that credit big time.
Were you not listening? We had this whole discussion. Then you're like, oh, fuck, did I not listen? Because, sometimes in that fear of them and the fear of setting them off, you're trying to listen super, super hard and you're not listening at all. Clumsy said her breaking point has always been when she starts to lose herself, no matter what the relationship is. If she doesn't know herself anymore, she has to leave. And that is a
That's good.
good
That's a good
barometer,
marker to have. Yeah.
but it's also sometimes that hits you too late because they are very good at commandeering all your attention, so you can't put the attention on yourself. There's no time for introspection. There's no time to say, "Oh, I'm different." They make it that you're hopping 24/7 to their tune. You don't have the time to say, "Oh, maybe, all right, I can do this, maybe I can do that." I'm a little worried about this. Elephant said, "Hello, Shelly, I don't want to detract from the important conversation. I just want to say I'm hurting right now. Oh no, one of my dogs died suddenly today. Oh, I'm so sorry, honey.
I'm sorry. I know it's tragic, man. When it hits you
Oh,
like that.
that's horrible to lose a pet. I have dangerous narcissistic ex laws. We call them ex laws because we cut them out of our lives. They still try to get our attention by stalking and harassment. Well, the classics. The classics usually are what they revert to.
That's
And
a
they're
real
just like, no,
that's a
I'm
real
just trying to give
histrionic
them another chance.
tendency, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Histrionics, like they totally got. Like I don't know about y'all, but when I was watching the Depp Heard trial, and that's how oddly enough, that's how Shelly and I both got into YouTube, if I'm not mistaken, Shelly, and that
Yep.
would kind of you
Yep.
too, yeah. And we were probably both watching Nick at the same time too, going thinking the same
Yep.
thing at the same time, and did
I was
it.
watching everybody. I was watching everybody because I wanted every
Me
point of
too.
view. Because I was
Yeah,
like, why is nobody saying what she's doing? And then they started. And it took like
I was
one
just worried
person
about
really
misinformation on it because I was like, it's
yeah,
like such a delicate moment. I was like, holy shit, this is actually happening. It's coming out. This is coming out. People are finally going to know about this because from the female perspective, I understand that there's the physical abuse. There's a lot of things that
yes.
um that goes on, right? There's physical abuse on the female narcissistic side too, coming at the
Of
men,
course.
right?
Of
But
course.
when it happens to a lady, everybody bows up, everybody perks up, everybody listens up, and when guys don't talk about it, guys aren't going to believe because they just like Amber did, they flip it around on you.
Hmm.
They try to make it about that, and like Johnny, nobody knew you don't know what the hell's going on. You're trying to reason with someone you love, and they're totally losing their mind, and they're just getting worse by the second. And sometimes you just can't run off. You know, especially
The
if you
thing
have
is, like,
kids in the house. You don't leave the
I've
kids with a
seen
rage
his
monster.
face. You know it too. You know he sat there many, many times going, how the hell did I get into this situation? When the hell did I get sucked into this? When did it flip? I was happy. She was happy. What was the catalyst? What made her go the other way? What made her decide, okay, I'm all in. Time to play.
And the thing
Because
about
she
it is,
was.
it's not like it's not like something that happens gradually.
No.
That's
And that's what I
I
don't
think
think
that
he understood
yeah, I don't think a
until
lot
the
of people
trial.
miss that. It's not like you had a bad relationship and just totally started going not as good as it was when it started because you guys are going in different directions. Eventually, you guys figure out you love each other enough to let each other go. Like that's how all my other relationships have been. Like generally, and I say that as like if you really love somebody, if you truly love them, then you will let them go when they need to be let go. If you're going in different directions, like my girlfriend before, my ex nurse, right? Love her, man, love her. I still love her to this day. God rest her soul.
Mm-hmm.
And um, I would be with her right now if she was still alive. I swear I would, because we really were made for each other, and but she didn't want to have kids, and I did, and life wasn't just we had it. We couldn't get over each other long enough to to get away from each other. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like we just didn't want it to ever end, but we kind of knew it was going to happen. So
You wanted
things happen
different
where
things at that time.
we,
Yeah.
we had kittens. We had kittens together instead,
Aw.
and we saved a cat. We saved a cat. Um, his,
Aw.
his name was Mr. White. We saved him, and then he had kittens with the 6-month-old kid next door. We lived next door to a crackhead, and he was a nice
Jeez, what a
guy.
cradle robber. God.
He was a nice guy, but he just had problems. I'll tell you about him sometime, but he just
Hmm.
had problems. So he got a puppy and a kitten at the same time, and the kitten would just come in through our cat door and hang out with our cats.
Hmm.
And um, so they ended up hooking up because we had taken in Mr. White and nursed him back to health because he looked like he was about to die from some kind of like infection. And I
Hmm.
literally was feeding him with a bottle, like to get him to eat because he wouldn't eat. So, but then so the kittens, we had kittens, and then I got a job back in Atlanta, and I'd been out of work for a little bit, but I was like, I got a job back in Atlanta, and I was just like, well, you know, that we'd had some stress and stuff like that, and I was just like, well, when push comes to shove, I'm just ready to go like try to figure this out, and if I can start a family, I want to start a family. I'm running out of time. So,
Yeah.
and she was like, well, you need to go work, and it was just easy. It was, it was like we understood because we already been together and apart and together again like two or three different
Hmm.
times, and it was always like as soon as we saw each other, like, hey, it's
You
like
had mutual respect and communication.
yeah,
That
it was always
it
like a
goes a
one.
long
As soon
way.
as we saw each other, we were right back together. It's
You
like we had to
cared.
get away from each other.
Yeah.
That's just, you know. But anyways, that's how it normally is. So I think that's how most people view it. Like it's just like something that either you go separate ways, or something comes up, or someone makes a big mistake, right? But otherwise, things were pretty good. There wasn't any real abuse going on. No one was using
Yeah.
anybody. It was mutual, right?
I mean, everybody
And
fights. That's what I
it's
don't
normal.
like.
The
Everybody
narcissist
argues.
ain't like that. The narcissist pretends like
No.
it's all great, right? And
Hmm.
it's everything. And then and within a day or something, I mean, yeah, it gets a little bit rocky here and there, but I'm talking when the game comes on, like when it's on. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
that's just like overnight almost. It's like you're just like one thing happens and everything changes and you never get back, and you're like, what the fuck happened? And you're trying to figure it out for
Hmm.
years. You try to go back to the moment and they won't even talk about it. You can't even get them to remember it after a while.
Oh no,
And
they
it's
swear it
like,
never happened.
yeah,
That never happened. That's in your imagination. I never said that. You never said that? Rings in my head every day. You never said that. Okay. So I guess I just made that up. Yeah, you do that. You blow everything out of proportion. I think you get in your head and you think things up and then you think they're true and they try to convince you that, you're completely insane. Elifant said my mother-in-law sends stacks of letters to my husband telling him that they did nothing wrong to him. And we have a list of things they did to him even in childhood. And you'll find that a lot. And that's typical of somebody who has done bad things to you and cannot admit it because they can't admit to themselves that they're that person. Because then, no, other people might find out. And what if I have to say I'm sorry and I'm not sorry because I did what I had to do? They'd say, oh, it was a different time. It was a different whatever. It's all fucking excuses. That's all it is. They use that as an excuse for them being selfish and not doing what they were supposed to do. They don't live up to their part of the bargain. A parent and a child, they have a bargain. You're having this child. The child did not ask to be born. So guess what? It's up to you to do the job of raising this into a decent human being who's
hmm
self-sustaining and capable of standing on their own without you. You know, a narcissist is somebody who's they're really going to break you down so that you are always going to need them. You're always going to be drawing from that well. You're always going to be please, 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 so that you could always give them more than they're going to give you. They keep you down. And they pretend like I'm amazing. You're lucky to be with me. I mean, you look at the Amber Johnny thing. The more she did to him, the tighter she held on because she knew that if he ever woke up to what she was doing, it was over. Like if he ever really opened his eyes, and it took him years, years and years and years to say no, no, no. You doing this to me on the day my mother died? No, no, that was it. There's nothing. There's no love here. You don't care about me. You're out to get me. Like he finally woke up and said, "You're not going to be happy until you have everything I have. You've ripped it away from me, and I'm no longer on this earth. That's your end goal. Like you want to take over my entire life rather than earn it on your own because you're a talentless hack. But that's where she was going. That's where he eventually saw the light, right? But he was raised, okay, everything, I'm going to scream at you and scream at you and scream at you, and you're going to stand there and take it. And then you're going to tell me you love me, because that's what his mother did. So when he met this one, it was the same wound, the same problem, the same MO. And part of his head that is searching for that approval from his mother said, maybe I can get it from this one. Not realizing that they're the exact same mold. They're just, oh no, maybe they're a little similar, but it's okay. I can do it right this time. He didn't do it wrong the first time. That's what they don't understand. It was never their fault. They grow up with this guilt. And so
So here's the weird tie-in.
it's easy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
prey on that. You could be like, oh, now I see why your mother treated you like she did. And you're like, because that's the one, like, that's the biggest pain, right? And she used to do that. It was, oh, no wonder your mother, oh, this is why your mother treated you like this. This is why your mother talked to you like this. This is why you could never get your mother to love you. Your own family doesn't love you. I love you though, and you're just unappreciative. You're just throwing it away. I'm the only one who loves you. I love you unconditionally. I hate when they use that word, and it's not true. Because if you love somebody unconditionally, you love them exactly as they are. That is not the kind of love that most people have in romantic relationships. That's more of a parent, you know, for their child. Not so much the
Yeah,
child for the parent, but it's usually what
I
a
see what you're
parent feels
saying.
for their child.
I see what you're
Because
saying.
this is your person. This is
What's a
your
better word for it?
responsibility. Um,
Love you with full commitment or something, or like,
they're more willing to, I guess, to accept that you're going to fuck up, and not hold it against you for the rest of your life. In a romantic relationship, that trust is like, oh, you're like, oh, you hurt me. I know you're going to do it again. I'm afraid you're going to do it again, and you get that fear with the parent. You have that fear. The parent doesn't have that fear with you. They're like, all right, you're going to screw up, but I'm still here. I'm not going to like the conversation we're going to have, but we're going to have it. I don't like the situation we're in, but we'll work through it. They're not willing to just throw in the towel on you, usually. Some are. I mean, my mother is. But that's the type of parent she is. She's selfish. All she cares about is what she wanted, what she didn't get in life. And, don't you dare stand in my way. Oh, I'm sorry. Is my being a teenager thwarting your dating ability? Like, it never made sense to me. And it always hurt. And I can't get that approval from her that she never gave me. I can't get that love and affection that she never gave me. So I looked for it outside in other relationships. And predators pick up on that. People who are willing to use you, they pick up on that and they go, oh, I just have to give her this little bit. And it's male or female, because I've been, with men and women who are narcissists. And it's just like, oh, I'll just love her a little and that's great. She's mine. Sometimes it's that easy. Sometimes you get to a point where you're like, yeah, no, I'm beyond that. Like, I'm beyond wanting scraps from anybody. I haven't quite gotten to that point. I would love to
well,
say that I have,
well
but I just haven't.
here's the thing. Like, with there's a couple things. One, it raises the question for me at least. It's like, where are all these people? Where does this come from? Why is this such an epidemic all of a sudden? I don't remember this being as bad as I was growing up, and now it seems to be like
Hmm.
really outrageous.
It's
And so
permissive.
I think that's why I was blindsided, by it. I was like,
Yeah.
I was just not used to any of that shit happening, you
Hmm.
know. And it was just so new and weird that I couldn't figure
Hi,
it out.
Jen.
And of course, I didn't
Uh,
see it for a long time, you know. But the but the other thing is that I say that a couple. One thing I thought I was like this. Okay, so here's one thing everybody when we becomes I and us becomes them,
mm,
that's the time you get out right then. you
hmm.
know, I was like that right there is a good indicator that this shit's definitely changed, and when it doesn't ever go back to the way it should be, um, yeah, that's a good indicator. There's no fixing it whatsoever.
Yeah.
but um, but the whole epidemic, right, of people being in these relationships now so much is that hold on a second, I think a cop's coming up my car. Hey, how's it going? Yes, I am. How you doing? Sorry, I'm just like talking. Just checking license plates, making sure we're all here. I'm just way out here in the parking lot, away from things.
You're like, I'm just doing a podcast. I'm good.
I'm
say hi?
I'm sitting there with
Want to say hi to YouTube?
right. I actually had a couple. I actually got like a twist. Someone gave me a twisted iced tea. And I was actually sitting here drinking it, and I hadn't like even thought about it. It was like sitting right next to me, open.
Oh Christ!
Oh man, I still got some of the kid luck left.
Well, at least you're not driving anywhere. I mean, you're where you're supposed to be, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're in for the night.
Yeah, she knows I'm a guest. She just smiled at me and waved.
That's because you're a charming motherfucker. Ellie said you can forgive people without keeping them in your life or being abused by the person or people. God doesn't require us to stay with people like that. No, but he sure does like to put them in your path because they do teach you lessons. They teach you lessons. They teach lessons to the people around you who witness it. It just seems like they don't teach the perpetrator any lessons because they're just going to do it again. They don't learn. That's just who they are. They have chosen to be that person. And they don't want to change because that works for them. They don't know how to do things on their own. They don't know how to earn accolades through their own actions. They would rather just, clout chase and ride coattails and, everything's about, what you can do for me and what I can take from you. It's never about what they could do on their own. They don't have their own feet to stand on. So they stand on your shoulders. And you feel the weight of them the entire time, but you can't just let go because you're not that person. You're not, and that's why they chose you, because you're not going to let somebody fall just for the sake of watching them fall. You tend to be more forgiving, more compassionate, more understanding, and that's how they get you, and that's how they keep you. Because they can convince you that they can't exist without you, even though they treat you like shit. And it's so, the two things are so counterintuitive to one another. And that's what usually conflicted. Or they what?
Or they just threaten to take the kid with them.
Yeah. Or they threaten to take the kid, or they threaten to, take away what little friends you have because your friends are their friends.
I would have been gone like a long time ago, but that's what kept me locked in. I was just always like, just go get your shit straight. I'll raise them. It'll be cool. Yeah. I was like, that's what it ended up happening anyways. I mean, it was like they early on. I was like, go figure it out. Yeah, for him. Don't do it for me. Do it for him.
Yeah. It's just manipulation from beginning to end. These are people who do not know how to act without manipulating. Everything is a setup or everything is contrived.
Yep.
And you think, no, like
everything.
He had all these good times. So every single step has been thought out. Everything. Yep. And they plan. It's, oh God, it's amazing the deviousness that they can go to. And
it never
they can carry that shit out.
It's on every little thing.
Yep. Because if you uncover one thing, there's a dozen things behind it that happen to prop that up. So here's one line.
She just moved it from our relationship to our parenting relationship. So it was like then I had to deal with the we had these set rules, right, to make everybody happy, and then she wouldn't abide by the rules, and then she'd lie about where she'd go. Right. I mean, it's like she'd bend the rules. Like I caught all kinds of bullshit. That's why I was like, man, I was get to the point. I was like, I'm gonna have to just do the unthinkable. I don't want to have to take custody away from her and move away to solve this problem. It's
sometimes that's all you can do is just flee.
But it's like
you gotta put distance. They will keep coming back.
That sometimes.
Yeah, they will keep coming back again and again through any means necessary. And like in your position, I have no doubt that in a hypothetical situation, and you had a child with a narcissistic person who doesn't exist. Um, if you had a child with them, they would absolutely use that child to convey messages to you of what they're doing, what their plans are, what they're thinking, what they don't like, and start planting things in the kid's head to like try to move them away from you, because that's your everything now. That can't happen. Like, so I need to, I need to make sure I still have my hooks in the kid so that I can use them to pull back and forth and keep you invested, keep you engaged, because you'd like to just, hypothetically, in that situation, your best bet is to take the kid, walk away, and be like, fuck you and everything you're about, and we're fine without you. That would be the ideal situation in a hypothetical situation for you. That doesn't happen, because you're human. The kid needs two parents, no matter how good or bad they are. It's always preferable. And you don't want to hurt him, right? You don't want to hurt your kid. You don't want to whatever. So you have to play nice. You have to swallow all the fear and the hurt and the, doubt and you kind of got to grin and bear it and hope that your kid grows up seeing the differences for
No, he
themselves, that they
does.
come to the
He's like,
conclusion for themselves,
I
because
put
you
my money
can't
where my
say it.
mouth is, man. I mean, I say I want us to put narcissistic like education in school early so kids can understand what these things are, so they can
Yep.
become more immune to it. I do it. I mean, I've already taught him about all this stuff. He needs to know it. It's the way the world is now, and he
Yep.
needs to be aware of it so that he can defend himself against it because they come at him too.
Yep.
There's
Absolutely.
always been one kid in his
Absolutely.
class that's been trying to always tell him he didn't do something he did or he wasn't good at what he was good at. There's always that dude around. There's always one of them around or two of them around. I'm like, I was like, and that upsets him. He's a really like open, cool kid. He gets along with people really easily,
Hmm.
easygoing, and just loves to have fun,
Yeah.
and there's not anything devious about him, and he's just a cool kid. And
And I mean,
these
he
people,
could
these
have
kids
gone
come out
the
of
other
nowhere
way, right?
and try to pick at everything that they can.
Hmm.
No, he's stronger for it. So like,
Yeah.
you know, it
Because you approached it the right way. It wasn't all in his face, but he was aware. You know, you
that doesn't mean
didn't
it's not going
use
to
him
upset you
back
from
and
time to
forth.
time,
I
but
mean,
you
you
have to understand
you
that not to get
lavish
involved.
your son with love. I mean, that's love, and that you're proud. Anybody can see that. Anybody who spent 5 minutes in your company knows how much you love your kid, which means he definitely knows it. And that can create a huge difference in how they turn out, because they're thinking, okay, well, he's all hurt and everything. She did all this. I saw her do all this, but yet he still loves. He's not bitter about it. He's not, he doesn't resent me for it. And okay, so I don't have to be resentful, and I just have to say, okay, this is how they are. This is how she is. This is how he is. This is how I want to be. And then they can do that because they've seen both sides of the coin. They've seen the juxtaposition between, somebody being manipulated and somebody being manipulative. They've seen the unforgiving and the forgiving. They've seen both sides, and they can choose who they want to be based on how they're feeling. You make him feel secure in himself. He doesn't have to manipulate other people because he believes he can do it himself. He has already shown himself, okay, I have skills, I have abilities myself. I don't have to use somebody else to get attention. I don't have to use somebody else to get ahead. I can do the work. And you know what? When I do the work, I feel better about myself. He's already cottoned on to that. You know, a lot of people haven't. And he could have gone the other way and gone her way and just, oh, I'm just
Yeah,
going to use whoever.
especially if I'd taken off and thought about
Yep.
myself,
If
and
you would
that's
have just
it.
been like, fuck this, and walked away, yeah, he definitely would
Yeah,
have
and
had
I would
that
have paid
bitterness.
for it.
Yep.
Like
Because you
out
would
the
have had them
nose
double
for it to
teamed
happen.
against you. Hmm.
Well, no, and I would have been this, it would have been like 100% child support all the time because that's the way it is now. Like
Yep.
you know, I've been taking care of it 100% since day one.
Um,
So,
yeah, no, I get
and
it.
I'm talking
Right.
like on the financial side. So if she ends up with them, then I'd be paying for her just to wreck them. It's like I can't do
Hmm.
that.
No.
That's ridiculous. It's I had fun as a single person, as an individual, and
Hmm.
in my life, I had so many
You were ready
adventures
to
and
be a
so many.
dad. You were
Absolutely, man,
ready.
absolutely.
Like,
But I mean, letting that go
because you enjoy that
was
shit. Like, you're
wasn't as
always so
hard as I
happy
thought it
when you
would
talk
be.
about your kid.
You know,
Well, I mean, the hard part is the things that get put in your way, the bumps that get put in your way. And a lot of them are probably put there by her. She's probably a lot of the bumps. When it comes to kids, I mean, if you love your kid and you listen to them and you're firm with them, I think you get a lot further than, if you're just complacent. I was too hard on my first and I was not hard enough on my second. So I fucked up both times. But I wound up
Mhm.
with good kids. They're just a pain in the ass sometimes. But they're very good kids. They have a lot of heart. And the one thing I always told them was be kind. Just be kind. Don't be mean to people. Don't use people because you're going to feel it in the end. You're going to wind up alone and you're going to need somebody and nobody's going to want to be there because they know how you are now. Eventually people figure you out. You can't hold a mask up for that long. Look, like Rabbit said, she said, I had to forgive my mother because she needed someone to take care of her at the last several years of her life. That's because you are the type of person to forgive her so that you could take care of her. What if you were the type of person that said, I don't care that she needs me. That bitch was mean to me.
Hey,
Same
Shelly,
thing. I'll take in my mother. What happened?
I need to tell you something. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
No,
got
that's right.
2% on I got 2% on my iPad and
Ooh.
3% on my phone that's being a hotspot right now. So if I disappear before I can get back inside and plug it in, thank you for
Uh-huh.
having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
But
jumping on. I always look forward to conversation with you. It's
but I'll
fun.
try to make it in there in time. But if not, I guess I'll just be the universe telling us it's time to say goodnight,
No, yeah, until I
or just
see
me
you
being
later.
lazy. Mhm.
But yeah, no. So, yeah, what if you were a different type of person? You could have told your mother go to hell. Some people will. Some people are like, you know what? No, you weren't there for me. I'm not going to be there for you. Mimsy said, yes, it's always what they take from you. And if you're a giving person to begin with, you're the perfect target. They're extremely manipulative. And that's how they turn good people into bitter people because you become, distrustful. You start to expect betrayal rather than hope against it. And you become very detached. And it's
Dude,
hard.
and that's why
It is.
survivor groups are so important, man. You need to be around people who have been through
Yes.
what you've been through. Like, I'm serious. Like it's people are at different stages when they arrive, but
Yep.
it's incredible because suddenly you have a group of people that will many of them will go out of their way to help you, and they'll be there to talk you through whatever stage you're in. If you have to like get a no contact escape plan together, they can help with
Hmm.
that. You know, there's all kinds of things. They've been there. So like if you're kind of like going through a situation and you're trying to figure it out right now and you're on that road, we've all been on that road, and this is how it starts. So you run into some people, you run into the right video, you run into the right content, and then you get the direction to go find a
Things start
survivor
to
group.
click.
Yeah. So there's plenty
Yeah,
on Facebook. Some great ones are on Facebook actually. Some
there
really good
are.
communities.
Twitter
So
too.
please.
You can go into
Mhm.
the Twitter, even though Twitter is a cesspool, but there are a lot of groups that I found in there. It's just you just have to tell somebody, this is what I'm going through. You don't have to give details. You could just say I'm having a hard time, and
If you don't
go
have
listen.
answers, they'll help you.
No, you know, sometimes you just have to talk to people. You just have to get it out so that you could see it from a different angle. Because it's different when you have to explain your actions and your life to somebody else. It's a lot harder to put into words that make sense. Because as you're talking, you're like, wow, that sounds really stupid. But you're like, that's really fucking thin. Like, and I believe this wow, I feel stupid. And it's okay to feel stupid. Feel stupid, but get out. Feel stupid, but get the help. Get smarter if you feel stupid. Learn, educate yourself, arm yourself with the knowledge, arm yourself with coping tools, with strategies. You know, you're not by yourself. There are millions of people going through the same thing. And in answer to your question, before you bleep out of existence as an idea, I think narcissism is more prevalent now because we've become so permissive as a society of all sorts of behaviors. That's nothing. I mean, We're celebrating the worst people of humanity. So narcissists barely register. They're just that's just a personality disorder. They're not killing anybody, right? That's what they say. They're not killing anybody. That's just
right?
oh, that's a personal thing. But it's a personal thing that I mean, look at Amber Heard and Johnny Depp affected literally everybody because we were all like, nope, I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. It happens to men. It happens. A lot of things came out because of that. And a lot of people got a voice they didn't have before. So I think the increase in people being brave and saying, no, I absolutely was abused by a narcissist, that is bringing to the forefront all the cases that we've never known about people that we thought were Joe Schmo and they wound up being, like dregs of society. So yeah, it's more in our face because we're talking about it more. It's like when you're trying to solve a problem, you hear about the problem 24/7. You're more aware of every single person who has that problem around you because you want that information, you want that data, you want to know because how does it compare to me? How did they deal with it? Could I have done this different? It's because it's changed your life. It's changed who you are and what you think of yourself and other people. So on that note, I am going to say goodnight and I am going to thank Winning very, very much for joining us and for giving his expertise, his opinion on this, and just wish you guys, the best in relationships that you're in. If you feel threatened, if you feel some type of way, just talk to somebody. You don't have to make a big deal out of it. You could do it quiet. Nobody has to, it doesn't have to be a group discussion, and you don't have to give all the details. Just throw it out there with somebody, go online, look it up, do some research, anything. Just get yourself a little bit of help. And you know that I'm here. You could always hit me up on my channel and I will happily talk to you here or on Discord. And on that note, I'm going to say good night. Good night, Mimsy, Rabbit, everybody, Elephant. And good night, Winning. I hope you have a
Good night.
wonderful night.
Thanks.
All right.
You
Thanks
too.
for coming by.
Take care.
Bye,
You got it.
guys.
Bye.